on sleep. It is on stress. They just got it reversed. So I never use notes, but I have a very limited time. And normally when I do this seminar, it's close to 2 hours. So my stress level was trying to take a 2-hour seminar into 20 to 22 or 23 minutes. So I'm following notes because otherwise I will be all over the place. Does that make sense? So stress can truly be your very best friend, but it also can be your worst enemy. And you're going to hear some things today I don't think you probably know about stress at all. So most of us know stress, we kind of think of the 2 categories, right? We think of temporary or situational stress, which is what? Fight or flight. A bear's coming after you, somebody's trying to beat you up, somebody's breaking into your house, you know, that kind of very short term. And the body is totally our friend at that point. And the reason for that is because of what it actually does. And we're going to kind of get into that. Now, the second kind of stress is chronic stress. This is the stress that literally can kill you. And I'm going to tell you exactly why and exactly how it does it. And give you lots of tools. We have some great handouts. So if you're a note taker, you're welcome to do that. But I have great notes for you that you'll be able to take home with you. Now, in chronic stress, I broke it down into 2 categories because I think the second category that very few people talk about is probably one of the most dangerous. So stress can be, let's kind of break them out. So the one you typically think of with stress is the chronic stress, which is financial stress. There are very few people who do not have financial stress, regardless of your income. I know many people who are multimillionaires and still have financial stress. It might be different than those of us trying to put food on the table, but there still is financial stress. Job stress. And not having a job, stress. Being a single parent. Being a caregiver. 9 years for my mother who had Alzheimer's and 5 years for my husband. So I like to say that I am a professional at having to deal with stress. Your children. Oh my gosh. The only ones that do not cause stress most of the time are your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren. And the great-grandchildren are usually small enough, there's usually not a whole lot of issue there. A troubled marriage. Illness with you or in your family. Those are kind of the typical things that we think about with chronic stress. However, this is the one that worries me the most, but it's the one that's the most exciting because you have a whole lot of control over it. The other things, yes, you can have some control, but not always. But these are the ones that you really do not have control over. So let's think about it. It's about your health. And if any of us learned anything at all, how many of us know what the stress was like during COVID? Never in the history of our country have we ever, except for maybe the Revolutionary War, have we ever seen the kind of stress and panic that we all did. And the sad part about that is we're still seeing it. With people who've had long-term COVID, we still see it in our children, we see it everywhere. Your past mistakes. We worry about what we did, what we should have done, why we didn't do that. We worry about our future. Do we have any? Do I have enough money to live longer? Am I going to outlive my health? All kinds of things. We worry about, I think more today, and I'm taking this from statistics, about politics. I know the one thing, and I'm just being very honest with you, that I personally have concerns about, and it's probably my age, is the rapid change of our culture. That's a huge concern for most people. Regardless of which side you're on, the rapid change. Change is tough. Rapid change is really, really hard. And the older you get, I think the more that that's true. We're concerned about our country's future. Again, it doesn't matter even which side you're on, there still is a lot of concern about what's going on. And if you grow up, now a lot of you are younger than me, but those of you who are a little bit older, I can look around and I guarantee you, I guess I'm the oldest one probably in the room. I grew up in a time that was just very, very different than what it is today. I mean, as children, we played. because we didn't have cell phones, and electronics is another really big stress we have. I had to learn to control, because I do run a business, I had to learn to control my use of the cell phone. I could not allow it to become part of who I am. Does that make sense? Much to the chagrin of some of my children. Why are you not answering the phone? Okay? We also have a lot of concern about drugs, alcohol, someone in our family, depression. These are all things that we worry about. Now, everybody worries. Some people make it a profession, and some people worry maybe just a little. You know, my father was que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. How many know what that means? Okay. Those of you who don't ask the person next to you, raise their hand. So he was the one who was totally comfortable and relaxed. My mother was a professional worrier. If there was anything that could happen, it could happen. Okay, so I kind of grew up with both ends. Now, what I want you to do, this is very private. Do not, unless you choose, do not share it with anyone. You may tear it up afterwards, throw it in the trash can. But right now, I want you to take the pen and paper you have, and I want you to write down your top 3 to 4 lifestyle changes. Those are the ones I mentioned first, not the things, all those little things we worry about, but lifestyle changes. Because we're going to do a fun exercise, and then I've got some good stuff for that we're going to go through and do with that. Then I want you to do like the lifestyle changes. That's just usually a few. Then all the things that you worry about. Did you worry about getting on time here today? I did a little bit, not too much, because I have learned to plan ahead. Does anybody in here struggle with time, getting places on time? That has always been a huge issue for me. And I remember one time I was late for an important event, and the person in charge said something to me that changed my life. And they said, Linda, are you aware that being late is second-level rudeness? It is very selfish. It is saying you are more important than the rest of us. Now, how many of you know I slid under the table, right? It was horrible. And you think, what a terrible thing to say. No, it's the best thing she could have ever said to me. I had control over that, and I wasn't doing it. So I have made a point. Am I ever late? Rarely. But I make a point of learning, what do I need to do to change that I'm not late? And it's worked for me 95% of the time, which is probably the best I'll ever be able to do.
Linda, what do you mean by lifestyle changes?
Lifestyle changes are what I mentioned earlier: financial stress, your job stress, being a single parent, being a caregiver, serious issues with your children or if you're raising children, a troubled marriage, illness, you know, the big things, which reminds me, I'm not sure I turned my phone off. So that might be something we could turn our sound down. If you turn my sound down, if you turn it off, I am technically challenged and may not figure out how to turn it back on. But where worrying is just all those, all those little things, mistakes from the past, the future, worrying, am I gonna get here in time, worrying about, am I gonna even be able to eat the food, am I gonna like the food, what do I have to do next, I've gotta do this, right? Just all the stuff. Now, some little stuff like that is not going to affect you, just that daily little stuff, the stuff that really, in this category of stress, is the one that's gonna hurt you a lot. Because it's in your head, it's always there, sometimes at the back, but sometimes in the front, but it sits there, and it does scientifically affect your body. So, take a couple minutes, just write down a couple of main things that are stress for you right now, and then just write down a few things that you just kind of worry about. Again, no one's gonna see it, this is not judgmental, this is not to be criticized, and you'll see why I want you to do it a little bit later. So, I'm gonna actually tell you, and I have a handout of this all written down, probably better than I say, on what actually happens to your body under stress. All my life, I've been told stress will kill you. Stress is not good. You gotta control your stress. Yeah. But I'm a type A personality, and I drove my teachers crazy at school. Why? How does it do it? Because I have found for me, if I don't really understand the damage that's going on in my own body, how it functions, and everything and every seminar I do is all about, you need to know how your body literally works, and if you don't, you can't fix it. You just can't fix it if you don't know how it works and you don't know what steps to take. So we're gonna go to the first one, fight or flight. We all know what that means. You're in a car wreck, you know, it's whatever it is, and your body immediately, brain actually is what takes over. So your brain literally hits the panic button, and it causes all your blood to move away from your gastrointestinal system right here. If something is attacking you, do you really need to say, wait, I need a snack? I'm a little hungry. Okay, so it's the first place that it hits, and we know that instinctively. How many of you have heard bad news and what immediately happens in your gut? We all feel it. I mean, it's like a rock sometimes in there. We don't feel it in our head ever. We feel it right here in our gut. So immediately, all the blood is eliminated from the entire intestinal system. Your skin gets sweaty, your pupils dilate, your heart rate increases, blood flow gets diverted instead to your muscles. Well, you may have to run. You may have to physically fight. So your body is your friend and is giving you what you actually have to do it. And if it didn't do that, you would not be able to survive. Your entire body goes on alert. That's what fight or flight is. Because it's temporary, because it's situational, it does no damage to your body. That's great news. So even if it happens once or twice, or heaven forbid, 3 times a year, depending on whether you live in Cookville or Chicago, you know, you literally, it is not going to damage your body because it's temporary. When it's chronic stress, regardless of whether it's anxiety and worry or just the other stresses we talked about, this is where the damage really happens. The same body functions exactly the way I just mentioned. The problem is it doesn't return to normal, not completely. These cells continue, all the cells in your body, because everything is going to muscles, right? Literally starts to close. Doesn't close completely, or you would be dead, but it does start to close. And this is the key secret of how damage happens in your body. These cells continue to be closed and partially shut down, and they are unable to receive a sufficient amount of oxygen. In a nutshell, if you do not have oxygen in your body, you are in big trouble. If you're in chronic stress, you are not producing enough oxygen to get into the cells to have everything in your body function the way you need it. Here's the problem. When you're low in oxygen, it creates an environment in your body that is very susceptible to disease. Very susceptible to disease. Your DNA is going to pick some of that for you, but still it's a scientific proven thing. So you see pathogens. Pathogens, they're like, you know, bacteria and viruses, and they are responsible for causing infectious diseases. By invading the body, they multiply, and they are taking control over your cellular growth. In addition to putting your body in a very vulnerable situation with not enough oxygen, your body is creating a lot of inflammation from all the cortisol that is created to handle your stress. Now let's go on top of inflammation. Inflammation is 85 to 90% of all infectious diseases starts with inflammation. And I wish I had time to tell you how that works, because that's another whole very interesting, really cool thing that happens there. Now we have inflammation, slowly chronic is what? Over the years, doesn't happen overnight, just keeps building and building and building unless we're trying to even it out. Now we have another situation. Your killer cells are like, oh my gosh, this body is on fire, and so what's it gonna do? Those fighter cells are gonna try to come in to multiple places in your body to try to put out the doggone fire. Now, inflammation can be good. Cut yourself, it swells, it gets red, and that sends the fighter cells in there to heal you very quickly. But not when you have inflammation all over your body. It's a real problem. If that's not enough, it also affects your MMC. Now, most of you don't know what your MMC is, but you should, because it really affects you. And that's the mechanism and the function of your small intestines. Most of us don't even know what our intestines do. But the job, this mechanism in the small intestines in your body, its job is to clear out the canal. It is to clean up all the debris and the bacteria, because when we eat, we do consume bacteria. It's to clean all of that out. If your MMC function is not working, you now have a very high chance of developing leaky gut, IBS, and SIBO, all intestinal issues and issues that are not that easy to fix.
What was the last thing you mentioned?
SIBO, S-I-B-O. They're all intestinal, small intestinal issues. You've got to keep that canal cleared out. Now, you go, well, I do a detox, you know, I do that whole detox, and that can help. But let me tell you, the small intestines works very different than your colon. Very, very different. So you really want that function to work in your body. I'm going to give you a quote that is from Dr. Otto Warburg, and some of you may have heard him. He's a Nobel laureate, very famous doctor. This is not a theory, this is science proven. And you need to really think about it, because we've been talking about this low oxygen you're having in different places. If you deprive a cell of 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours, it may become cancerous. Lord of mercy, that is pretty doggone scary. That he didn't say, that was me. It's like the equivalent to suffocating your body and depriving it of the one element it cannot live to survive. Why do they tell you to exercise? Oxygen, right? I mean, they want to get your oxygen up as much as possible. And the more chronic stress you have, the more you have to get that body to be moving. Because you're already, if you're having a lot of stress, you're already not in a good situation. So, when I really understood why I needed to address stress, it changed everything for me. As I told you, I'm pushing 80, I'll be 79 my next birthday. I'm on no meds. My health is equivalent to some of my younger children. I have 5 children, 21 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. And they despise my energy. I can go 10 to 12 hours a day. It's disgusting. And I don't use caffeine. Or take, anything that, is gonna raise that. So my only goal in life, because my family, we're Swiss German, they just don't die. So my grandparents, what's true, my mother died young at 95, young. My grandmother 98, my other grandfather 99, I have a great grandmother 101, and another one at 102. So when I started to discover how my body functions, it changes your whole perspective. And I'm going to tell you something that is absolutely true and important. You have in your hands 85% control over most diseases. 15% you have none whatsoever. You were born with it. I mean, if you lose your leg, okay, you're not going to grow a new leg, right? So 85% is out of our control, but or 15% is out of our control, but 85 is in our control. Now, because of many reasons, I don't gamble. But if I thought I could go to a casino and slip in the back door and I had an 85% chance of winning, I might do that. I'm just saying, I might do that. We aren't taught that. What are we taught? If you start getting symptoms, if you get sick, what do? You automatically go, where? To the doctor. And what does the doctor do? He gives you pills and he gives you drugs, which help to cover sometimes your symptoms. And then if that doesn't work, then you get other symptoms and then he gives you another pill or another solution. Now, I'm not knocking the pharmaceutical company, which is not true because I do. But there is a time and there is a place for drugs. Most is temporary. But the truth is, God created your body to heal itself. Now here's the big if. If you give your body what it needs. So the reason I'm so passionate about doing seminars is I didn't have anybody to teach me any of this. When I was 49, I went in and had a hysterectomy because the gynecologist said, do you want more children? I had 5 in 7 years. Okay, so that answer was what? No. Love my children, but no. And at 49, heck no, right? And I had lots of trouble with terrible cramps, fibroid tumors and heavy bleeding. It just made sense to me. And I made a decision that completely changed my health. But I didn't know it because I didn't know how the body functioned. So my first thing as a health and wellness was I started to find out what was happening. I was in perfect health, and I'm telling you, my health went to hell in a handbasket. I have no idea what that means, but it did. One thing after a year later, I had my gallbladder out. Oh, they didn't tell me that the average to having your gallbladder out after a hysterectomy is 2 years. Shoot, I didn't know that. They told me I had to have it because my daddy had heart conditions. And so they put me on Brenner and said, you have to be on this because of your heart. 60 pounds I gained in 9 months, changing nothing. All kinds of things happened, and that's not why you're here. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you walk away with nothing today, I hope at least I've given you some information on why you want to start eliminating stress. And it's not as hard as you think. Can I have both of you gals up here to hand these out? If you don't want to take it home, you don't have to, just leave it on the table. Just put it between. The reason I want you to have it is because it's not an overnight job. You're gonna pick one, start with 1 or 2, and pick the easiest stress reliever that you think you can do. Don't start on the hardest, because if you start on the hardest, you're gonna give up. Start on the easiest, because success breeds success. Whoever started going to the gym on January 1st? And how many of you were still there in February? Or March? Because we're gonna go in and man, we are gonna do it, we're gonna work out, we're gonna do the whole shebang. No, that's just not how we work. We just don't work that way. One step at a time. And we don't think that's significant. Oh my gosh, if you made 1 step a month on your stress, in 1 year, you would be a completely different person, and your health could either be turned around or you would be great in being able to prevent it. I'm looking at that clock, trying to make sure I'm not late. So these are all the things. Let me make sure I handed you the right one. Yeah, so you're gonna see it. Some of you are gonna look at it and you're gonna go, oh yeah, I know. Eat a healthy diet to keep your body functioning at peak. Yeah. No sugar, I can't smoke, I can't drink. Okay, some of these you know, but you cannot like them, but it still is the truth. I mean, I always laugh at people who, I heard this the other day, and it says, why are you telling your children that they can't go to church? Do you tell your children, oh, you don't have to eat your vegetables if you don't feel like it? And I'm just using that as an example to yourself. Your health is all you have. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how wonderful your family is. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. Most of us spend the first half of our life or more, in getting that wealth and everything built up that we want, and we spend the last half spending the money to try to fix it. That was not sent by me, but it was said by me 200 years ago in France. 2, REM sleep. Oh, Susanna is going to be doing next on that. So those of you who got here and were like, I was coming for sleep. I will let you take a nap after you eat. However, we are going to cover that. We've heard the same thing. You have to sleep. I am a fanatic about my sleep. Out of 7 nights, I am in deep REM 6, minimum. And she's going to explain, and that helps tremendously with your stress. By the way, I already told you, your sleep cycle is affected by your stress. If you're stressed, you are not. If you're tossing and turning, you are not in REM. Why REM? What's REM? Rapid eye movement. It's the deep sleep that God created for your body to heal. 90% of all your healing is at night. And if you're in REM, it's serious. And not only that, it's when your body detoxes. How many of us know if we don't detox, we're in real trouble? So when your grandchild or your great-grandchild says, they call me Oma, and they're like, Oma, why is my pee so yellow and stinky in the morning? You now have an answer. I like mine to be clear. If mine's not clear first thing in the morning, I know something is amiss. So I get mine as clear as possible, because the more odor and the more color in it, the more you have toxins in your body. Okay, learn to say, we talked about move. There's lots of things you can do. You go, I don't like to exercise. Garden, do something. Find something that you can actually do. Can't put enough emphasis on that. Okay, most of us women struggle with the next one. Learn to say no. You cannot support yourself, your family, and the loved ones you have if you feel like you have to say yes to everything that comes along the pike. I was so guilty of that. So guilty. I mean, and they knew it. Oh, ask Linda, she'll say yes, right? And I've learned I need boundaries. Myself is important. Keeping me healthy is important. It's important for me to be able to show my family and those around me, but multiple other things too. Okay, some of you aren't gonna like it. Turn off the doggone TV news. Please. They are there, whether you like it or not, regardless of which side you're on, to create fear. I'm telling you, Good Times does not sell news. I'm sorry. I mean, out of 5 hours you listen, you would hear 20 minutes of something actually good that happened. Get off the news channel. I'm gonna say the same thing about social media. You get on, especially the younger people. A lot of you in here have enough wisdom to understand this. But so many young people are on social media and they're looking at this perfection and, oh my gosh, look what this person does, and look what this person, it's not the truth, really? I mean, I would say, how many of you think a small percentage of anything on social media is actually true? And then you compare yourself and you're like, no, obviously I'm a loser. You're not, you weren't created to be a loser. Music. This is huge for me. Everybody has to find these things that work for you. You can come into my house and whatever is playing at my house, you will know, if you know me, exactly what mood I'm in. Exactly. When I'm really stressed, it's Mozart. Because his music, I won't go into all the science details, but it hits what's called a 47 wavelength. And I am telling you, it can soothe your soul no matter what's going on. You ought to see what it does to children who have autism. I've had great success with teaching people how to do that. If I'm down in the dumps, don't laugh, but if I'm just feeling a little dumpy today, okay, I'm a child of the 60s, not the 70s, but I played the old-fashioned rock and roll. And for whatever reason, it just gets me smiling and laughing and moving. And if I have a big task to do and you come in my house, you're going to hear music that's just in a super, super fast beat. And for me, it's usually Christian music that's, you know, just banging out everywhere, and I'm kind of banging out with it as I cook. So yes, while I was preparing food, you all need to know, yes, I had some pretty solid spiritual music playing. So hopefully some of that went in the food. Don't isolate yourself. Do not isolate yourself. We were created to intermingle with humans, not the internet. That is not true communication. Laugh. Oh my gosh, find something to laugh. If you go to my phone right now, I have 6 YouTubes. I just discovered YouTube. I'm very slow, okay? Technically. I just found and downloaded, I had to learn how to do that, 6 really funny YouTube shorts. And every once in a while, I'll just flip one on, and it makes me laugh every time. It's amazing what actually happens to your body when you laugh. Deep breathing. We're all gonna do one deep breathing. This helps when you have immediate, somebody says something, something happens, you hear something you don't wanna hear. I do deep breathing a lot. Not only does it put a lot of oxygen in you, but it changes your whole metabolism. So here's one of the easiest, best ways to breathe. You're all gonna take a deep breath, try it from the gut if you can, and you're gonna count to 4 to 6, depending on your lungs. You're gonna hold it for the same amount of time, and that's, you're literally taking that breath in your nose, holding it for the same amount you do it, and very slowly releasing it. Now, I want you to actually close your eyes while you do it, so that you can, because if you close one sense, your other senses become more aware. So close your eyes, everybody at the count of 2. 1, 2. You should feel relaxed, especially since you know I'm almost done and you're hungry. Okay, there are some supplements listed on here. I won't go into it, but these are all excellent supplements. They can help you with stress. Unfortunately, they take anywhere from 30 days to 3 months or more to really get some of your serotonin and GABA, which are hormones you need to help with stress. And then last but certainly not least is prayer. I'm not here to preach to you, I promise, but I cannot be true to myself if I don't tell you what it's personally done for me. And we have meditation on here if you're not into prayer, and that also works. But I will tell you, on your own time, because I'm over time, really read this. I lost a daughter at 44 and my mother in the same year. Couldn't have survived without it. There is science behind prayer regardless of what you believe. And when you read this, you will see exactly what it is. It can help you tremendously. If you don't have the same beliefs as me, meditation doesn't do as much, but there are definitely some benefits. I'm gonna let you read that on your own. And then, get to the end here. I have a quote. Think about this. Thought is not reality. Think about this with your worry. Thought is not reality, yet it is through those realities that it is created. What you think about, you bring about. And that's a whole entire seminar. I worked with young women who were drug addicts in rehab, and I did an entire year, 4 to 5 hours a week, showing them how to completely rechange your brain, which does work. Our emotional feelings do not come from external events, but it's our perception about the events in our life. Therefore, guard what you think. Life is tough enough without us worrying about something that might happen, could happen, or should have happened. So this will give you some reading if you're interested. If not, you're welcome to leave it. Sorry, I took it from you. And I'm going to close with this. This is the science of stress damage. I thought some of you, if you're science nerds like me, might like to actually look at it, because I talk kind of fast because I am so limited in time. And it will give you some great information. If you will hand those out, if you don't want them, again, not a problem. We're gonna start to eat. I think I told most of you heard it. Everything is organic, gluten-free, sugar-free, except for Manuka honey. And there is some monk fruit, pure monk fruit with nothing else.
What is Manuka honey? I don't know.
The most medicinal honey on the face of the earth. It's not as sweet as regular honey, so it doesn't raise your glucose level. Well, honey doesn't raise your glucose level as high as sugar and other things. but it has a lot of medicinal, and they're only in the muffins. And they may look brown and you may go, oh, no, Betty has the best ever. They have everything in them that is so doggone good and moist, and you've got to try them. The salad is kale. Don't stick your nose up until you've tasted it. I have organic chicken, and for those who do eat meat. And also, the only thing is there is some dried fruit in here, and even though it says it's sugar-free, it means they didn't add sugar, fruit still does have fructose in it. So, girls, if I can get you to come over here, we'll put this on. Over here, I have some books that, from the library, you might want to take a look. You cannot check them out here, but you can take a picture of them, or take them to the front desk, and, you know, they're just on different subjects. And also, one of the things on your list is patches. And that's one of the things we're giving away today. One of the things that helped me with my stress more than anything, and I've done the supplements, I mean, I've done everything, are the patches that I use. They're not transdermal, which means nothing goes in your body. It just triggers either peptides or amino acids that reduces your stress. People call it the happy patch. Because a lot of people who really suffer with depression, who really suffer with that up and down, who suffer with a lot of anxiety, they are phenomenal. No side effects. It's not fixing your body. It's not healing your body. It's only giving your body what it needs to do it itself. I don't live without them. I'm not really nice without them. I'm a lot nicer when I wear them. When I get stressed, I'm not the nicest person in the world. I have been known to yell and stomp and slam doors. So this keeps me nice for my family. So we have information. If you want to find out about that, you're welcome to do that. We're going to do a drawing for a 30-day supply. So somebody in here is going to get a 30-day supply to help calm them down for a month. And then you have to decide, do I like being calm or do I want to go back to my raging self? But we also have some books. So, and I'm going to be here to answer any personal questions that you have whatsoever. So, should we start with the first or last row?
Oh, also, next week,
Oh, yes, next week.
whoever comes back that's here this week will be in for an extra drawing for something to help you sleep.
Yeah. So you have a whole month of a patch that also really helps a lot with sleep.
Can we say a little blessing for this?
I'm just getting ready to do that.
Okay.
I was kind of waiting for her to, with the extra can go on the other board back there. That's kind of what.
Linda, quick question.
Yes.
Tell me what NMC stands for when you're talking about the small.
Yes.
I knew you were going to ask that, and I didn't write it in the thing. If you'll Google it, it will tell you it's long.
Okay.
But what it is actually a mechanism. You know, like when you, how does the I hate to say poop, but how does your poop get out of your body, right? I don't know if you know how it's called peristalsis, right? Expands and contracts. That's a mechanism. So MMS is just a typical mechanism in the intestines, and its only main function is to clean out that small intestine, to scrape it, get all the debris and bacteria out. If it's left in there, then what happens is you have this incredible mesh lining on the intestine, and if that is not kept cleaned out, it can actually, which is to protect you, it can actually break that cellular structure, and that's how you get leaky gut and IBS, and it goes to all parts of your body. And
I can't remember what MMS is.
I haven't,
COSA, something like that?
But I do
MMC, migrating
remember
motor
in-
complex.
I say that
What is it?
again.
Migrating motor complex.
Well, I don't know why I thought that
Yeah.
was so hard.
But I do remember in nursing school, we watched a film about this, and they had all kinds of, like bulldozers in front of them.
Yeah.
And everything, the small intestine, they were all working on cleaning out it was great.
I was afraid to use the bulldozer thing, but I saw the same one in one of my husband's medical books. I was like, I don't know if these are not, men might get the